So talk to me a little bit about what you hope the conference today will about.
I love the name. To get right on crime, I mean, that's exactly what we should be doing. There's a better, smarter, more effective way, be more efficient. These are all conservative principles that we should embrace.
Do you feel like it's something conservatives are tuned into, that they're really aware of the issues that need to be dealt with when it comes to the justice system and crime?
You still need a lot of education. I think most people are concerned. They don't want to be the person who suddenly let that person out of prison and then they committed another crime. Republicans have enjoyed a tough on crime a label, if you will. But there's got to be a better, smarter way to do this. And ultimately, our goal should be to reduce the rate of recidivism and help drive down some of the cost curves. The single largest, fastest growing line item on the Department of Justice budget is the Bureau of Prisons. It consumes more than a third of the budget. We can't keep doing that in perpetuity. What we shouldn't do is what California did, and even what the federal government doing, is just release people en masse because there aren't enough beds and there aren't enough dollars. There's a better, smarter way to do that, and that's what this group's doing.
Do you feel like it's a difficult balance that has to be struck between determining, as was talked about a little bit earlier, who sort of needs to stay in prison and who is in a position to be reformed?
Look, there are certain cases, whether they've murdered somebody or a child molester, I mean, just throw away the key and let's not even talk about that. But there's this other group. They made a mistake, they screwed up, they owe there's a punishment, they owe a debt to society. But let's also understand that 95+% of the people that go into prison, they're coming back out. I don't want them to be better criminals. I want them to be doing the things that they need to do to be a productive member of society and not make those types of mistakes or bad decisions again. That's what we as conservatives should stand for.
There's a lot of talk about the conditions in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that there is some danger of inhumane treatment in the way that certain prisoners are put into populations that are then able to hurt them, harm them in prison, and then, like you said, become career politicians?
I mean, there's notoriously, there are lots of bad things that happen in the prisons. And again, if we allow them to become too crowded, if we allow them to certainly engage in activity where they become better criminals or maybe a worse criminal than they came coming in, then we got problems. You got a lot of people that are in prison because they have an addiction that needs to be addressed. If we don't break that cycle, they're just going to keep committing it. It's going to get worse and worse and worse.
Now you work in the House, and I've seen you grow quite a few people at the DOJ. How is the response to this sort of initiative, this sort of movement in the House? Does it get a lot of support?
I've had a good conversation with the Attorney General Holder. I think there is good support on both sides of the aisle, certainly on the House Judiciary Committee. The Ranking Member Conyers, Bobby Scott in particular, have been wonderful on this issue. If we're going to have something that ultimately succeeds, it's got to be bipartisan in its scope. And now you got a new, fresh breed of conservatives and Republicans that want to address this issue. It's not the sexiest of issues, but probably one of the more important things we do.
One last question. What can grassroots conservatives do to get involved in it, to help?
We need them to be educated on the issue, understand that 95% of the people are coming back out, and let's figure out a way to instill our conservative principles. I'd love support for the bills that I have, but let's demand and ask for federal lawmakers to address this problem, not just simply ignore it, because we can't do what California did. We can't do what the federal government did. That is not the right way to deal with this.
All right. Thanks very much.
Hope that helps.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.